Okay, I'd like to call this town board special meeting to order. If we could all please rise and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Linda, please.
We're going to say a prayer. It's the prayer of St. Francis. It was used to pray for peace during World War II. And we're praying for peace now, especially for Ukraine, throughout our nation and our town and village. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. O divine Master, grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. Amen.
Okay. Let the record reflect that all members of the town board are present, with the exception of Council Member Brandon Lefevre. Town Clerk, if you could please read the notice of the special meeting.
In compliance with the Public Officers Law, this will inform you that the Town Board of the Town of Queens has scheduled a special meeting to conduct personnel business at 6 p.m. on Friday, March 4th, 2022 at Queens Town Hall, 18 Russell Avenue, Ravenna, New York. Town Hall is currently open to the public with limited capacity due to COVID-19. Please check back as protocols are constantly changing. This meeting will broadcast on the Town of Queens Facebook page via Facebook Live. By order of the Town of Queens Town Board, Candace McHugh, Town Clerk.
Thank you. So we have a lot of people here tonight, which is great to see. It's certainly a bittersweet moment to honor our friend, our colleague, Scott Searles, on his retirement. I know that's why most of you are here, and I thank you for coming. I would like to just recognize a couple of folks here that are elected officials. We have our Sheriff Craig Apple in the back. We've got our Assemblyman Chris Tague. We've got a number of superintendents of highways, Alan Van Wormer from New Baltimore. Who else do we have back there? Jody Ostrander from Westerlo. And Gary Thornton, right, from Wyndham, right?
Wyndham,
and he's also the State
Highway
Association.
Yes.
Just want to thank you guys for coming. I want to thank all of you for coming, but especially you guys for traveling here and honoring our retiring superintendent of highways, Scott Searles. I'm going to have the first resolution proposed, and then we're going to stop there, and we're going to let everyone say their piece and make their announcements and present whatever they have to present to Scott before we move on to any more of the agenda.
And then we also did reach out to Henry Traver. We know we have a long relationship with Henry and Mark Dorsey of Town of Bethlehem as well. They were both busy this evening. So.
Okay. So we'll start with the first resolution.
I, Councilmember Baker, offer the following resolution, move its adoption. Whereas a written letter of retirement was received by the Town of Queens on March 1st, 2022, from Highway Superintendent Scott D. Searles, with an effective date of March 30th, 2022, as his last date on payroll, and effective retirement date of March 31st, 2022. And whereas the letter of retirement was delivered to the office of the Town Clerk, now therefore be it resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby accept the retirement of Highway Superintendent Scott D. Searles to be effective March 30th, 2022, as his last date on the payroll, and an effective retirement date of March 31st, 2022. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens considers it to have been an honor to serve with Scott D. Searles, and we wish him the best of luck as he enters into retirement after 30 years of dedicated service to his community.
So we have a motion made by Mr. Baker, and I will second that motion for discussion. I'd like to just say, Scott, for the past 2 years, 24 months, you and I have pretty much met every single morning in my office and chatted about various topics. I would say 99% of the time, we've always been in agreement, and I don't remember the 1%, but I just can't imagine we're 100% in agreement. So, I just want to tell you that it was an honor and a privilege for me, and I learned a lot. And I'll remember those discussions that we had, because you bring a level of wisdom that, that I really appreciate. 30 years serving your community is a long time, and I'll never have that, but you do. And anyone who doesn't recognize that as a great honor and respect doesn't know what they're talking about. So I really appreciate your friendship, appreciate some of your the wisdom you've imparted on me, and I wish you the very best of luck going forward. Any other discussion?
Yeah, so we've kind of come to full life circle. Myself, Scott, Mike Ferrero, we went way back in the 80s. We used to do four-wheeling. We, rode four-wheelers. We did four-wheel drive trucks. We drank beer together. And we all kind of went our separate ways. And now we're back together. So I'm just happy for you. Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much for all your service. I've only been on the board a short time, but very thankful that you were there for us.
Congratulations, Scott.
Yes.
I haven't been able to work with you a long time, but I really have treasured the time I have worked with you. Thank you.
So we have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. I guess if we didn't pass that, you couldn't retire, huh? Maybe we want to recount on that vote. Okay, with that said, would anyone like to come up to the podium and say a few words?
So I'll call on Mr. Alan Van Warmer, Highway Super of the town of New Baltimore.
Good evening. As you said, my name is Alan Van Warmer. I've been with the town of New Baltimore for 31 years. I've been highway superintendent for the last 4. I've worked very close with Scott. Just want to wish you well. Hope you enjoy your retirement. And retired or not, once you're one of us, you're always one of us. So if you need anything, reach out.
Thank you, Alan.
Thank you. Mr. Gary Thorrington.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to say a few words. Appreciate it very much. My name's Gary Thorrington. I'm the superintendent of highways for the town of Windham. I also serve, I cover 6 counties in New York State for the State Association of Highway Superintendents. There's a lot of elected officials in here tonight. There's a lot of public servants in here tonight. As a highway superintendent, not many people know how many times you got up from your dinner table with one fork into the meal and the phone ringing. I commend you for the amount of service, hours, and 30 years of public service that you gave to the town of Queens. I'm proud to be a colleague of yours, and I wish you the very best in your retirement. And I'm going to echo what Alan said. If there's anything we can do as a group or me as an individual, I'm more than willing to help you. But thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Yes.
Jody Ostrander from town of Westerlo.
Till you step in these shoes, you'll never know what we have to put up with on a day-to-day basis. I've worked with Queemans back and forth. We've helped each other out. If I needed some advice, Scott gave me some advice when I first started out. Good luck, Scott, and if you need anything, bud, give me a shout.
Thank you. Kenny Burns.
Feels funny being on this side. Marissa and Linda, you look way better than I did. I've known Scott for a long time. I'm an older guy, so I got to see him as a kid. And don't ever eat hot peppers at his father's house. My mouth is still burning. But I watched him on the fire company, on the Queens Fire Company. That's where I really got to know him. Then he came to work on the village, and I worked alongside of him on the village, and the whole time I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him saying, why would a guy with a brain like this settle for something like this? And then he went to work on the town, and it was the greatest thing that ever happened for the town and Albert Deering. Albert was kind of a one-man band for a long time, and when Scott got out there, he kind of took the burden off of him and started distributing the work. And then as a town board member here, we haven't gotten an agreement on everything, but because I would be lying if I said we did, but nobody's done it better. And whoever takes over for you, you're passing the baton to somebody that's got big shoes to fill. So, been an honor, Scott.
Thank you, Kenny.
Appreciate it.
The floor is open. Would anybody like to say a few words? Okay, then we'll ask our Assemblyman Chris Tague to please proceed.
Okay. Well, first of all, Scott, the first time I went to meet you, I was campaigning. I wasn't even the assemblyman yet. And every time I went to your house, it was a snowstorm. And guess what? He wasn't home. Appreciate everything you do. And I'll tell you, it's just appreciative to be here with your colleagues. Every single one of the highway superintendents here I represent. They are all in my assembly district. And let's give a round of applause to these guys and what they do. You know, I'd be remiss not to mention my good friend Sheriff Apple. Great guy. Lucky to have him as sheriff in Albany County, I'll tell you.
Absolutely.
Does a great job. Sheriff, it's always an honor and a pleasure to be with you. And what about this group of folks right here? I think they do a pretty good job for Ravina and Coimans. You know, great to work with, and anytime I need anything, they're right there. Well, Scott, we're really here tonight to celebrate your work history and what you've done for the community. So on behalf of the New York State Assembly, on behalf of myself and the people of the 102nd Assembly District, I want to offer this citation to you. Whereas the Assembly of the State of New York seeks to acknowledge those individuals whose professional lives and civic endeavors serve to enhance the stature of their communities and the State of New York. Whereas for some 30 years, Scott D. Searles has rendered faithful, conscientious, and valuable service to the citizens of the town of Coimans, the village of Ravina, and the greater Greene County community. Whereas Highway Superintendent Searles first joined the town of Coimans Highway Department in 1992, where he worked until 2000, when he became a dispatcher for the town, the same year joining the village of Ravina Department of Public Works. In 2005, he became the town of Coimans Deputy Highway Superintendent. He successfully ran for the office of Highway Superintendent in 2014 and has held that position ever since. Whereas Superintendent Searles and his loving wife Bonnie have raised two wonderful children, Scott Searles Jr. and Morgan. And today they are doting grandparents of three grandchildren, my buddy Landon, Lily, and Lacey. Whereas it is a sense of this legislative body that those who enhance the well-being and vitality of their community and have shown a long and sustained commitment to excellence certainly have earned the recognition and applause of all the citizens of this great Empire State. Now therefore be it resolved that as a duly elected member of the State Assembly of New York, I recognize that in the town of Coimans, our Highway Superintendent, Scott D. Searles, we have an outstanding citizen, one who is worthy of the esteem of both the community and the great state of New York. Be it further resolved that a copy of this citation is being suitably engrossed and transmitted to our friend and Highway Superintendent, Scott D. Searles, with sincere thanks, deepest appreciation, and for your many many, many years of dedicated service. Signed, Assemblyman Christopher W. Tagg, member of the New York State Assembly. Scott, on behalf of the people of the 102nd Assembly District, the State Assembly of New York, and all the residents of the Empire State, I say thank you for your service and congratulations, my friend, and God bless. Thank you.
Certainly. And last, but hopefully not least, I have a presentation for you as well, Scott. This is on behalf of the town board, but it's also on behalf of all the employees here at the town that you've worked with over the years, and as well as the residents of the town of Queens. I'd like to read this. Congratulations on your retirement, Scott Searles. The town of Queens will be forever grateful for your 30 years of dedicated service, leadership, hard work, and countless contributions to our community. So this is for you, Scott, and we really do appreciate all the years you've given us.
Appreciate everything from everybody. I really do.
All right.
Okay. Does anyone wish to say anything before I move on? Okay. I, Councilmember McHugh, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas a written letter of resignation was received by the town of Queens on March 1st, 2022, from Councilmember Daniel D. Baker with an effective date of March 6, 2022. Whereas the letter of resignation was delivered to the office of the town clerk, now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby accept the resignation of Councilmember Daniel D. Baker to be effective on March 6, 2022. And be it further resolved that the town board of the town of Queens considers it to have been an honor to serve with Daniel D. Baker, and we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors. So we have a motion made. Do we have a second?
I'll second him.
Seconded by Ms. Tute. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
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 I will abstain.
So we have 3 ayes and 1 abstain. The motion is passed.
I, Councilmember Tute, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas the town of Queens Highway Superintendent Scott D. Searles has tendered his letter of retirement from his position as Highway Superintendent effective March 31st, 2022. And whereas the town board is desirous of hiring a full-time special assistant to the Highway Superintendent at the Queens Highway Department for the purpose of assisting with the operations and management of the Highway Department, and to ensure a seamless transition during the Highway Superintendent's anticipated retirement from service. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby hire Daniel D. Baker as full-time special assistant to the Highway Superintendent at the rate of $28.85 per hour, effective March 7th, 2022.
So we have a motion made by Ms. Tute. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Ms. Bruno. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye.
I will abstain.
And 1 abstain, so 3 ayes, 1 abstain. The motion passes. Scott, there's not much of a retirement gift to you, but now you got not only Mike Ferrero to train, you got this guy. So I apologize for that.
You might have to bring that guy back with the beer.
Like I said, full circle. It's now complete.
Ms. Bruno.
Yes. I, Councilmember Bruno, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas a letter written of resignation was received by the town of Queens on March 1st, 2022, from Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman and Member Stephen J. Schmidt, with an effective date of March 4th, 2022. And whereas a letter of resignation was delivered to the office of the town clerk. Now therefore be it resolved that the town board of the town of Queens does hereby accept the resignation of Planning Board, Zoning Board of Appeals Chairman and Member Stephen J. Schmidt, effective March 4th, 2022. And be it further resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens sincerely thanks Stephen J. Schmidt for his many years of service to the Town of Queens, and we wish him the best of luck in his future endeavors.
So we have a motion made by Ms. Bruno. Do we have a second?
I will second that.
Seconded by Mr. Baker. Any discussion?
I just would like to say thank you to Stephen. I had the privilege of working with him. I was on the planning board and he did an outstanding job. So thank you, Stephen.
And I would agree. I would really second that sentiment, because Stephen's been a great zoning board, planning board chairman, especially in a time when we combined the two boards, which, we didn't know if that was going to be a good idea or a bad idea, but he made it happen through his leadership and patience. I think that he made that a very successful merger, and he was the right guy at the right time.
Absolutely.
So appreciate your service, Stephen.
Thank you, Stephen.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion is carried.
I, Councilmember Baker, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas a vacancy exists as council member on the Town Board of the Town of Queens, New York, effective March 7, 2022, because of the resignation of Councilmember Daniel D. Baker, whose written resignation dated March 1, 2022, and submitted to the Queens Town Board, Board of Elections, and New York State Secretary of State with an effective resignation date of March 6, 2022. And whereas pursuant to Town Law, Section 64, subsection 5, the Town Board of the Town of Queens is by majority vote thereof, has the authority to appoint a qualified person to fill the vacancy in said elective office. And the person so appointed shall hold office until commencement of the calendar year next succeeding in the first annual election at which the vacancy may be filled. Now therefore be it resolved by the Town Board of the Town of Queens pursuant to Town Law, Section 64, subsection 5, that Stephen J. Schmidt, a duly qualified resident of the town, be appointed to the office of Town Council Member to fill the vacancy existing in such office, effective March 7, 2022. Such appointment is effective March 7, 2022, and immediately upon administration of the oath of office, and said Stephen J. Schmidt shall hold such office until January 1, 2023, which is commencement of the calendar year next succeeding the first annual election scheduled for November 8th, 2022, at which the vacancy may be filled.
So we have a motion made by Mr. Baker. I will second the motion for discussion. Stephen, regardless of what some of the people will tell you, this is not a step in the wrong direction. All right, going from planning board chair to this is not going down. All right, we have high hopes for you. So thank you for accepting this appointment. Any other discussion?
Yes, thank you.
Yes, and welcome aboard.
Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion's carried. I, Supervisor McHugh, offer the following resolution and move its adoption. Whereas a vacancy currently exists in the position of Chief of Police by reason of the resignation of the former chief. And whereas Mark Tryon served for 32 years as a New York State Trooper, serving with honor and distinction at the ranks of Sergeant, Zone Sergeant, and First Sergeant from 1981 up to and until his retirement in 2013. And whereas the Town Board of the Town of Queens has vetted Mark Tryon for the position of Police Chief, together with the Albany County Civil Service, and each has determined that the candidate meets and exceeds all qualification requirements for appointment to said position. Now therefore be resolved that the Town Board of the Town of Queens does hereby appoint Mark Tryon to be the new Chief of Police for the Town of Queens effective March 7th, 2022 at a salaried yearly rate of $80,000. So I have made the motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Seconded by Ms. Tute. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion's carried. Welcome aboard, Chief Tryon. All right, we have some upcoming meetings. The town board meeting of March 10th at 6 p.m., at which time the newly appointed council member will be, Stephen Schmidt will be sworn in. And the planning board ZBA meeting will be March 14th, 2022 at 7 p.m. Is there any public comment at this time? Anyone wish to say anything at all? Okay. Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Motion to adjourn the special meeting by Ms. Tute. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Ms. Bruno. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion's carried. Meeting is adjourned, and thank you all for coming.
And the man.
Nice you to come down.
Oh,
I appreciate
absolutely.
it, man. That's awesome.
Anytime, that's awesome. Yep.
Steve, or Chris, thanks for coming.
Yeah, very nice. If you need anything, let me know.
I will.
I'll give
check
you a
on that
buzz tomorrow. I gotta go to Ulster County in the
We have
morning.
a 10 o'clock meeting at my office. We'll be done
Okay.
by 11.
Oh, yeah, I will. I'll send you a petition.
And you email it to me.
I will, yeah. Tammy.
Good job.
Take a picture with me. See you. Good.
You know what? There's a
Yeah, we do.
Oh, really? Nice.
got my number.
Yes, he does.
Oh, okay, great.
I met you at the firehouse.
Jody,
Yeah.
thanks for coming, buddy. Alan, thank you for coming. Very nice job.
She's awesome.
Chris.
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah, we should get a picture. I mean,
Is you all right? Or like if you come with Yeah, he's definitely. I'll put your.
this is nice.
Somebody use.
Oh, is this? Yeah. Well, when you have buttons, you can zoom on them. Okay.
They said, oh, that'd be really exciting.
Let me get me in there. I want to get in that picture on my phone.
I'll send it to you. My phone camera's
All right.
better.
We like each other.
Anybody else?
Hey, want to get the town board?
I appreciate that. It's a good service.
Get the rest of the town board.
Yeah.
Where did Linda and Danny go?
But
You got for a picture?
Thank you very much.
Hey, do. Hey, do. Come on.
Danny for you.
I know.
Famous.
Come on, get the town board.
Amanda's head.
Where's Linda?
Chris, we were trying to run out.
Oh, get over there.
Marissa?
Yeah, right?
It was.
Where's Linda?
I went to look for her.